Hey, you! I'm your nutrition coach. My name is Jackie Poole. Welcome to Happiness is a Healthier Habit. Let's get today's episode started. Happy Tuesday, my friend. Thank you for joining me today. I am always glad to have you here, whether you are doing a walk, whether you're driving, whether I am with you at lunch. I'm always so thankful that you opened up this podcast and made some time for yourself. And I know you're going to get a lot of value out of today's episode, but I just want to remind you, if you love the show, if you want to give me a thumbs up, a smiley face, just to let me know that you are enjoying this podcast and it will help other viewers, other listeners, find me easier, and we can spread the word of what true happiness and health looks like, right? So thank you so much for joining me. Today we are going straight into this new season, right? We are in August. School is literally here. I'm gonna be sending my kids to their school next week. I am so excited. All three are going to be going to school. So it is definitely a new season for me, right? No more kids at home. I still love the title stay at home mom, but I am also an entrepreneur, right? So I am carrying a lot of hats. Things are going to be a little bit easier during the day for me. So entering this season, I want to actually start with this statistic that I heard, because it's kind of scary and people wonder why, right? Like, why am I, how did I get to where I am right now, right? Like, how did this happen? And I heard this statistic. It was the average American gains 13 pounds from the moment Halloween hits till the end of the year, right? And so that was quite a bit. So it's literally like about a half a pound a week. And so that is crazy, right? And when we think about that, I just, wonder and think about all the things. I have a couple of coaching clients that I'm actually having conversations with, that they're, teachers, they are going back into the working field. And I'm also thinking of when I used to work, right? A lot in the clinic, they would bring us, the reps would bring us treats and candies and, cakes and sugary stuff. It was never anything worth me putting my body in. But honestly, it was there. It was easy to grab. It was constantly snacking. And so I imagine it's the same thing for teachers. Like when my kids were in school and the teachers would ask for, teacher appreciation day or things like that. It was mostly like treats and cakes and cupcakes and breakfast and kolaches for morning breakfast. And it's just crazy how we are inundated with all of these things that come with this season, right? When you think about fall, you think about the pumpkin spice everything, pumpkin spice lattes, like all of the things that come with the fall, and all of those extra treats and things that people are doing, right? Because we don't only have Halloween that starts our journey. It starts with Halloween, and that's not including like birthdays in between, that's not including celebrations in between, that's not including like we moving on to Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, and like we are just inundated with all of this processed extra sugary food. So this statistic, what I heard was we gained pretty much, the 13 pounds. And let's say for January, we managed to buckle down and get serious with our health again. And we're on a quote unquote diet, right? And we lose the 10 pounds. But now we are still 3 pounds over what we initially started. And so we do that for a few years. And now we are, let's say like 10 years later, 10 times 3, you've put on 30 pounds, right? Because we didn't really change anything. We gained the 13, lost the 10, but we were always netting 3. So in 10 years, you've lost and gained, but ultimately gained 30 pounds in those 10 years, right? Because as we accumulate and talk about habits and, we are compounding, and whether they're good habits or bad habits, they're still going to accumulate whether you're realizing or not. And we end up in a moment where we're asking ourselves, how the heck did we get here, right? And so we got to stop and think right now. And that's why I'm doing this right now at this time before we are in the mark, right? Before we are starting with this, bringing that awareness that you are the only one that can really make these changes. You are the only one that's going to save you. Nobody's going to be looking out for you. Everybody's always going to ask, right? One of the main things that I know is a struggle, and sometimes people just don't understand, is the power of no, right? And you just gotta stick with it and keep saying no. For example, if you're at a party, right, and you made sure you ate before you got there, you had your protein, you brought a couple snacks, maybe even your water bottle, you're good, and it's not going to be anything good there, right? And the people are like, do you want something to eat? Do you want this or that? And obviously if it's not something that you're able to eat or that you want to put in your body at the moment, it's going to be a hard stop no. And then, if it's a celebration, if it's a party, right, there's always going to be like cakes and treats and a side table with treats. And, if it's a birthday, after the birthday, song, they're going to, cut the cake and give that out, and you're gonna be like, no, I don't want that. And of course they're gonna be like, are you sure? Just a little piece, it's okay, it's not gonna hurt, it's not gonna be big deal, just one. You gotta stick with the no, right? You gotta stick to your guns. You gotta stick to what you said you want to do. And it is a little awkward at first because they're gonna be like, why? It's just one time. But they don't understand what I'm talking about right now, which is compounding, right? If you're not at a place where your body can't handle these little moments where you are, let's say, yes to the cake, yes to the soda, once every 2 weeks, right? It's going to start compounding, and then you are not going to be to where you want to be. And going back to this party, you got to stick to your guns. You got to stick to what you said you're going to do. And it's not going to be easy, especially in your journey when you are just starting, when you are just decided that you're going to, make this change. It's not easy not being normal, right? Because the normal thing is doing what everybody else is doing. The uncomfortable thing is saying, no, I don't want that. That's not who I am. I don't want to eat that. And sticking to it. It is uncomfortable at times when maybe you're first starting off. But when you are sure of what you want to do, when you are assertive of your goals and your whys and why we want to change our body for our health, it's not going to be hard. It's a simple decision. And I want to make that clear because right now we're entering this season, right? And like I said, you don't want to let 10 years pass and you're up 30 pounds and ask yourself, well, why? I ate healthy this and I ate healthy that. As we get older, it does become harder as well. So make the decision now. Think about it, right? How do you want to be in 10 years? It's so much easier to keep the weight off than to try to keep it off, right? And making these decisions in the beginning might be a little hard or uncomfortable for you. You're not used to making those decisions. But when you're feeding your body the right things, when you are noticing all of these changes, all of this energy that you are building, that you are able to walk more without getting tired or out of breath, when you are able to think more clearly and to get things done faster, and when you are noticing those things, it's really quite simple to say, no, that's not me. That's not for me. I don't want that right now. And I'm not saying never ever, right? But especially if we're in a journey right now, when you are making these decisions, those are going to be compounded into little things that are not going to be in your favor, whether it's here and there. And, you can tell me, or we can have a conversation and you're like, I want to change. I want to do this. I want to do that. But those are just words, right? It's important to really sit down and think, because this season, when we talk about habits, right? What are the things that you can do here every day, whether it's, going on a 2-minute walk or choosing to drink no more sodas? What is it that is going to drive you to stick to what you want to do? And so sometimes finding your why is helpful. There's so many things that can really benefit you as far as this season goes. And I want to bring that awareness, because some people think, I can't do it. I'm too scared. I've just failed before. But also, when you start seeing these changes, when everybody else around you is making these decisions that maybe used to be you, but you are feeling so much better. And I'm phrasing this because I've been working with a few people now enough to know that it does become easier to say no. It's a trickle effect. Once you start feeling good, you don't want to go back to where you were. Especially if you're a mom and, you're a working mom, you got to keep up with all of these things coming up with this season. Summer is one thing, but going back to school, the kids have sports, they have school activities, you got to pick them up from school, drop them off. There's so many things that come along with this season. It's such a fun time too. It's not like you can't say, I'm not gonna do this, I'm gonna stick to this forever. There's so many ways that you can play around with food and have fun with your nutrition. So I don't want anybody to think that, it's all about sticking to chicken and broccoli and rice and that's life, which is not. There's so much things that come on with nutrition and exercising. But if you're in a journey, if you're in a place where you're not happy with yourself, you're not happy with how you feel, you always end up gaining weight around this time and you have a hard time losing it. I mean, there's so many things that come along with this, but ultimately you have to make that decision. Nobody else is going to make that decision for you. Now, what can help is surrounding yourself with people that are going to support you, that to help you, to encourage you to grow, and to motivate you to keep on doing it, right? Because when you surround yourself with people that have the same goals, the same values, obviously it's going to be easier than doing it alone. Grab a partner, grab a buddy, somebody that's going to be there to help you out and help you through this. And so, because we're talking about a new season, there's something that I wanted to recommend this season to add, right? Because I've been really enjoying it, and it's really helped me maintain a physique, a body that I feel comfortable, that I feel strong, that I feel that I can, do anything and accomplish anything that I want to. And so, talking about this new season, we are going to be talking about the benefits of walking. Okay, if you are struggling with weight loss, you don't know where to start, what to do, what to eat, you don't know if your hormones are affecting you, you don't know if it's your genes, whatever it is, I have a solution for you. Schedule a discovery call where I can give you a plan of where to start, what to do, how to do it, and we can co-create a plan just catered for you so we can get started on helping you feel better, feel energized, feel confident in your own skin, in your own body. No more leggings, no more big tees. Get you out of those clothes into something that you feel comfortable taking those selfies and feel good about the body that you're in. So if you want to start coaching with me, please schedule a discovery call. The link will be in the show notes. And now back to the show. Okay, so one thing that I've really added this summer and continue to add for the rest of the year is really focusing on my endurance, right? And so one of the hardest things that I've found that people obviously, think they're active, but when we actually go and track how many steps we're doing, we're not that quite active, right? So even if you're exercising, like let's say you go out for like a mile walk in the morning, and that is it, you got your walk on, that's amazing, that's great. But then you're pretty much sedentary throughout the day. That's really gonna be stagnant in probably the results that you're looking for, right? In the body fat that you are trying to lose. So physical activity, doesn't need to be complicated. In my program, you have a plan of either 15 minutes every day, or we can do a 2-day program of strength training every week, and then the phases change like every 4 weeks. So you don't get bored, so you feel stimulated, you are getting stronger, right? I love to say building muscle, but also when people think about that, you might think, oh, I don't want to bulk up or this or that. But honestly, when you build muscle, it's going to help you, have a better metabolism. And the goal is to be stronger. But that's for another day. We are going to be talking about walking, right? So there are so many benefits for walking. And like I mentioned, a lot of people are more sedentary. They are not being as mobile, especially if you work at a desk job and you are kind of sitting down all day. That is something that you want to work towards in your day, adding more steps. So something that I found is even if you're working out, at the hour a day, a lot of people are still being very, very sedentary. So adding, regular brisk walks throughout the day can really help maintain ideal body weight, but also help you lose fat, right? And of course, there's so many other things that walking can do for your health. I mean, it can improve your cardiovascular, strengthen your bones and muscles. It helps increase your energy levels. It's going to help your mood, your sleep. It's going to reduce stress and tension that you might have. But ultimately, walking is such a great tool for fat burning, right? And so one of the ways to do that is adding a fasted walk in the morning. And that's something that I've really committed to doing every day, pretty much during for a while now. But I've been more intensive about, drinking my water and taking my tea. And so having a walk regularly in the morning, can really help you, even put you in a calorie deficit, right? You don't necessarily have to decrease your food intake to create that deficit. When you think about that, some people think, oh, because the calories to lose weight, but you can be eating the same amount of food, nutritious, whole, dense, whole ingredient foods, and just add a couple of walks throughout the day, and that's already creating the deficit that we want. So that is one way to do it as far as helping reduce belly fat, right? It's really helpful to add this aerobic exercise, and it's going to help burn calories. It's going to improve your heart rate, and again, it's going to help you with the weight loss that you're wanting. So there's studies that say, you want to aim for those 10,000 steps a day. So if you're getting less than 10,000 steps, let's say you're averaging like 6,000, right? You don't want to go up to like 10,000 right away. If you are going to struggle with that, if that's something that you're not used to. So slowly build, right? Micro wins, little baby steps, however small of the step you want to move forward, just take it, right? So a suggestion that I normally do is just adding about 1,000 steps a week. If that's something that you are on regular basis pretty low on your steps. So the average steps that you should be doing is around 10,000 steps. But if you're not quite there yet, every week just add up about 1,000, and that will help you, get there. Having a fitness tracker that counts your steps is such a great tool just to see where you're at, right? Like how sedentary you might be. Maybe you're even more mobile and you didn't realize it. And so having a fitness tracker is so important. I love my Apple Watch. There's also like Fitbits and, simple things that can just track your steps, not focusing on anything else, right? And so ways that you can add these steps or a couple of more walks throughout the day is, by taking the stairs, parking further away from, doors at grocery stores, work or school, walk to your lunch if you're able to, or any other activities that you might think. Sometimes I like to park really far away, especially when there's a lot of cars. I don't want my car being, around these cars. When you're going to a grocery store, when it's super busy, that is the time where you really just want to park far away, right? And so if you're working, also taking a walks during your lunches, that will increase your step count. So there's studies that show that the higher the step count, the lower your waist circumference. And so there's a lot of studies that show that one of the best ways to reduce belly fat is to doing exercise like walking. And of course, you will see even more benefits when you are doing this fasting, right? So again, how to increase the amount of walking that we do. We can do it first thing in the morning. I like to get my exercise first thing in the morning done right away. So it's done. It's like the hardest thing that I have to do. I don't have to worry about it, later on. And then I can do whatever I want add during the rest of the day, right? Whether it's walking to my mailbox or things as such. And if you've been doing it for a while and it's becoming like very stagnant. So what I've realized in the past before is sometimes when my mom came and visited me, I was walking kind of like a really slow pace. And my mom came and visited me and she was picking it up. She was, I was like, oh my gosh, you're walking kind of fast. And so I didn't realize I was just getting used to and not walking and putting enough effort in my walk. So that opened up my eyes a little bit too, right? How walking at a lower speed and increasing your speed and lowering your speed can also allow your body to burn fat. Of course, weighted vests are such a big thing these days. Changing the routes that you're going in to these walks, I've been really enjoying that. So I have access to the neighborhood that I live in, and then there's one across the street. And like I've said before, I've gotten lost in that neighborhood. There's so many ways and turns I can go, and so changing your routines will also keep you alert, motivated to try something new. So all of those things, and it's not just the walking, right? I want to remind you that walking is such a simple way. You don't have to buy anything unless you don't have the shoes, but it's such an easy way to incorporate into your weight loss goal, especially in this season that I've talked about, to help you get there or even just maintain where you are happy at. But also think about nutrition, right? Think about, it's not just the walking, it's everything that we feed our body. So if you have a goal in mind, if you are struggling to lose weight, this is such a great tool that you can add to your toolkit, right? The more you do it, the better you're going to feel. But always, before you start, adding the vest or adding the weight or, before making changes, always talk to your doctor, of course, about how you feel, if this is the right step for you. But this is such a great, simple way to create, again, a calorie deficit, burn body fat, use stored body fat as fuel. And honestly, like I mentioned earlier, you are releasing stress. You are increasing your energy levels. Go outside, see the sunrise, right? Especially right now, a couple of days before going to school, I love watching the sun rise in the morning. It's such a great feeling to be able to see that, and getting my waking up sunlight in the morning is such a beautiful thing. And so this is such a simple way to help you maintain a healthy body composition, of course, paired with a great nutritious lifestyle. And I want to remind you, nutrition is not just the food that you feed yourself. It is what you listen, what you see, what you hear, what you surround yourself with. And it's important to surround yourself with things that are mentally, physically, and emotionally going to be beneficial to you in every single way. So I want you to take that in mind into this new season that you're coming into, and really strive not to be perfect, but to make progress. You don't want to be that statistic that says that, well, I'm just going to gain 13 pounds, right? Do not let go, because that is a scary statistic, and you don't want to be down the line thinking, how did you get there? And if you need more support, I am here for you. You can always email me at hyhy@jackiepools.com. If you have any questions, I will talk to you next time. Bye.